Hey y'all, this is Michael with the Tugs My Drug, and today I'm going to go over my rod arsenal, what I have on my boat almost all the time. I don't ever leave home without any of these rods right here, and just what brand they are, what action, what reel, and what kind of technique I really use with them. So let's get started with the spinning reels over here. This is one of two rods that I own that's not a Duckett. This is a Omen green by 13 Fishing. It's a medium light action. It is 7 foot, and I use this for my drop shotting. On it I have a Shimano Sahara. It's a 6:1 gear ratio spinning reel, which is pretty fast for a spinning reel. It's really light, and another thing about the spinning reel is it's super cheap for being a 6:1. I think it's around the $100 mark, and I used to use the C14s or CI4s, and they like broke all the time, so I just went to this Shimano. It's a 3000 series. My next spinning rod is a Duckett Micro Magic. It's a 7 foot medium heavy. So I went from a medium light to a medium heavy just because, well, they don't have any mediums around here, and like a lot of the fish I'm fishing for, like Conroe, Rayburn, Toledo Bend, they're pretty big fish, so I can get away with a medium heavy. I have this paired up with a Revo SX 3000 series, which is, this is a 30, but it's 3000 series spool. I always go with the bigger spools for bigger line. You gotta make sure when you're going with a bigger spool though that the weight doesn't increase a lot. That's one thing about the Shimano. This, they get a lot heavier the higher they go up. So you get more line in the bigger the spool. So I use this for shaky heads, Ned rigs, light Texas rigs. I usually give this to my wife or a friend that's never been fishing. Just give them this and tie on something and use it. It's a pretty good all-around rod. I'll go over my bait casters now. I'm gonna start with the lighter actions and work my way up towards the heavier actions or specialty rods. So this is a 6 foot 6 inch medium action Micro Magic Pro. It has a Garcia Revo S on it with an 8 pound fluorocarbon. I use this for shaky heads, light Texas rigs. If I'm going to fish Rayburn or somewhere with grass, I'll put 40 pound braid on this and use this as a lipless crankbait rod. It's just a really nice all around rod. Then I got a 7 foot medium action Micro Magic Pro made by Duckett with a Revo STX on it. This has 40 pound braid on it, and it's mostly my lipless crankbait rod, and I might put a square bill on it if I want another square bill rod, but this usually just stays as a lipless crankbait rod. Right now I have a shaky head on it because I was fishing Conroe, and I wanted a little bit heavier rod, or a little bit lighter rod than my spinning rod, but I wanted the braid. So, all right, the next two rods that I use are the rods that are almost in my hands 75% of the time. First one here, this is a Duckett Micro Magic 6 foot 6 inch medium heavy paired with a Revo Rocket. Alright, I put 15-20 pound fluorocarbon. This right now has 20 pound fluorocarbon on it. This is my jig rod. Like, this is all I use for my jig rod. Next, this rod is also in my hands all the time. This is a 7 foot medium heavy rod with a Revo MG Extreme. It has 12 pound fluorocarbon on it. This is my Texas rig rod solely. The same as like my jig rod that only stays as a jig. This only stays as a Texas rig rod. This rod is amazing, especially the combo and everything. Great rod. All right, the next rod here is a Duckett Micro Magic 6 foot 9. Sorry, paired with the Revo SX. This is what I use for more of my moving baits, chatter baits, spinner baits, flukes, top water, like light top waters, jerk baits. Trying to think of like all the stuff that's in my box. So you can use this with jigs, you can use this with Texas rigs. It's just a good all-around rod. That's why I have the most medium heavy rods, because they're just good all-around rods. I feel like I can get the most out of each one compared to like the medium action. They're a little bit too light, and then the heavy action is way too heavy to fish other things. So this is a great all-around rod. Next up here is another 6'6" medium heavy. Has a Revo SX paired with 40 pound, maybe 50 pound braid. This is what I use on Rayburn to fish the grass with the big 3/4 ounce rattle traps. But right now I have a jig on there. Also a short rod, not great for casting, but I make it work. All right, the last of the medium heavies. This is a 7'6" medium heavy Micro Magic Pro paired with a Revo STX, 12 pound, maybe 15 pound monofilament, and this is solely my Carolina rig rod. 7:1 gear ratio, giant rod. You can cast this thing, and with the bigger rod and the bigger hook set, like with the sweep of your hook set, you take up a lot more line with the longer rod. All right, onto my heavy actions. I got two heavy actions. They're 7-foot Duckett Micro Magic, and they're both paired with the Revo Beast. Big wide handle, big knobs, 65 pound braid. This is my frog rod, this is my punching rod. That's basically all they get used for. I'm either frogging or I'm punching with these two rods. This is another 7-foot heavy action, but this has a Revo STX. This is the 8:1 gear ratio with 65 pound braid, and I use this one more for punching, but right now I have a spoon on it. I don't know why. I suck at fishing spoons, but obviously 8:1, faster retrieve. Gotta hurry up, the camera's dying. Okay, moving on to the extra heavies. This is a 7'6" extra heavy Duckett Micro Magic with a Revo SX 7'1 Alabama rig rod. That's all that's used for. Crankbait rods. Start with the deep diver. This is the other rod that I don't own that's not a Duckett. This is a Tour KVD made by Quantum, 7'11" medium heavy action with a Revo winch on it, 5:1 gear ratio, and this is my deep diving crankbait rod. It's really heavy, but it has like such great tips, so and a stiff backbone, so you can launch these things so far. All right, last two rods. This is a 7-foot Crankin medium action with a Revo SX 6:1 gear ratio. This is my medium diving crankbait rod. Anywhere from XD3 to XD4s, 5 maybe. Last rod here, this is a Duckett Micro Magic Pro 7-foot medium action cranking rod with a 7:1 gear ratio. This is my square bill. That's all it's used for, 12 pound test. All those rods had 12 pound tests on them. It's just a good range that I like to stay in. And this is all it's used for is square bills. So there you go. Those are my rods. If you have any questions, just hit me up in the comments. Like me on Instagram, Facebook, all that. Like and subscribe. Hope you like this video. Go check out these brands. I'm not sponsored by them, but I believe in all the products that I have right here. They've lasted me. There's a rod and a reel here. That was my first rod and reel that I bought myself 4 or 5 years ago, and it's still running strong. I clean them and keep good care of them. So see you later, guys.